everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with Watercolor Wednesday, and today I'm going to play with my Neocolor II. They're water soluble and they're made in Swiss and they're called crayons or dache, or I'm not really sure, but anyway, they're called Neocolor II. So I'm going to pick one color and it's kind of a teal. Oh, it's so beautiful. When it goes on, it doesn't look how beautiful it turns out. It's just, I don't know if it says the color on this, but it was the only teal color that was in there. At this point, I have no idea what picture I want to use. I just want to get, about, I'd say a little bit more than 2/3 of my page is colored in that watercolor. And so I leave quite a bit of white space around it, and then I just put here, and to me it was like, I don't know, I wanted to create the effect almost like, I don't know, like blurry, or I don't know, just this kind of washed out look behind. And again, didn't know what color, what pictures I wanted to take and put on this. And actually I thought, oh, blue and pink would look really good, and I end up putting some pink on it. And then when I decide on the photo, pink really doesn't go very well. So I take the same crayon and I put just a little bit of water with it so it's a little bit more concentrated. And I'm just doing it on my Heidi Swap mat. And then I'm putting sprinkles all over just with a paintbrush. And I'm just melting the crayon into some water, and just so that it's a little bit more concentrated. And just, you can't see it here on video, but it does have, kind of little specks effect. Now I'm going, what color could I put with this? Because I didn't know what papers I was going to use. I didn't know what pictures. I actually did this last night, which was the 16th, and I knew that I had to do a page for Watercolor Wednesday. I'm usually way ahead, but I've been playing a lot with the Calvin ball stuff, so doing real-time videos, and I have like 2 or 3 of them to upload. That's how much I've been preparing for Calvin ball. So by last night I was like, uh-oh, you got a video you got to upload tomorrow, so you better get on that. So I just kind of thought, oh, what could I play with? And I thought, well, I'll play with those crayons, and I love teal, so I decided to go with teal. Then I put some pink on, and then when I decide on the photo, pink really didn't go. But thankfully, pink, by adding red to it after, I can kind of fool and that you can't really tell that there's pink on the layout. So I'm going to dry that up, and then I decide on the photo. And do you know how many times that I decide on the photo after I've done everything? Almost 90%, 95% of the time. Usually what I do is exactly how I'm doing it for Calvin ball. I pick a whole bunch of layouts, usually not as many as I did for Calvin ball. I have 100 pages selected right now. Now I'm going through it and I'm picking out the embellishments. Once I have the embellishments, then I go through my pictures and pick my pick. Okay, so sorry, my phone rang and it was work to see if I wanted some overtime, and I enjoy my days off so much. It's like, oh no, I only have 2 days off. I'm good. um, so anyway, then I go pick my pictures, and then I work on my journaling on the recipe cards and I stick them in there. And then whenever I have a little bit of time, I just go through and I start working on the layouts. Now this one here, because I went, oh shoot, I forgot I had to kind of do it at the last minute. I had no idea, and I find doing layouts like this so much harder. So I grabbed a pattern paper, and then I opened up my box of photos, and the first one on the top, I'm like, I'll scrapbook that. I didn't feel like looking for 20 minutes for photos. So it's a picture of Mason and my daughter's boyfriend. And it was on Canada Day last year in 2015. And I scrapped it in my project life, but I didn't do a full page from it. So this is where I decide, okay, well, it's Canada Day, so it should have some red in it. So I took a red pens or red crayon, and I put some sprinkles over the pink, and you can't even tell that the pink is there anymore. Or it just looks like it just maybe was a little bit more watered down, but really the red really kind of takes over. And now I dug through some of the new collections that I just got in last week, and it is from Chamel, her new collection Starshine, and Amy Tangerine Better Together. And you know what? I'm using those in my Calvin Ball challenge too, but I just grabbed it and I used some of the stuff for this, so it feels great that some of this stuff came into my room less than a week ago, and already, like, I can see big differences in this amount of collection. Like, I've used it quite a bit. Well, maybe I shouldn't say used it, but it is in page kits right now. Now, this one here I did use. Um, this is the Amy Tangerine Better Together, and I'm just grabbing a few pattern papers from there. And I just grabbed some that had some red to it just to bring in more red. And mounted the photo with light blue, which is what I'm going to mount the whole thing on. I thought maybe of mounting it on red, but I think it would have been too like, oof. So I always cut down my watercolor paper, and that's what I started with. The thing that I did the Neocolor on, it is watercolor paper from a watercolor pad, and I cut it down always to 11 3/4 by 11 3/4, and actually this time I think I did 11 1/2 by 11 1/2, and I mount it on either pattern paper or cardstock. This time I decided cardstock, and even though it's a Canada Day page, I didn't want it to be all red and white, so that's where, because it was a page about, a couple of boys. Mason's wearing sort of a tealish color, and my daughter's boyfriend is wearing a red shirt. So by doing both, it kind of brings focus on both of them. Now I'm ready to start gluing everything down. So I'm taking my ATG gun, and I'm just putting glue everywhere, and I'm just going to stick it down. And I'm going to use a couple of the transparencies from Chamel, but the rest of it is also from the Chamel die cut pack. And I find when I do a watercolor background, I don't put as many embellishments on it as some of my other pages. I find I don't want to take away from, the background. So I'm just going to take a couple of things. One is Let Your Dreams Soar, and it has a little rocket ship, and it just has all the colors that I'm using in here. And I decided to put it at the bottom of the page so then it looks like it's, going towards the top of the page, and it points towards the photo. And then there's a little planet that says Out of This World, and we all deserve to twinkle. And then the top one says Love This Dude. And Mason does. He loves Roger so much, and vice versa. Roger loves Mason so much. So it was just perfect. Then there was a little cut apart from the 6x6, and it says today was a good day. And they had a pretty rockin' Canada Day, finishing it off with they did a campfire outside, which they had a bunch of fun. I wish I could have put it right by Mason, Love This Dude, but the Love This Dude was so close to my background that it wasn't showing up. So I ended up putting it at the top of the layout. So this layout didn't take me any time at all. It took me about 50 minutes, and it was a lot of fun to make. It's, I guess not every layout is going to be sort of your fave and, you knocked it out of the park, favorite kind of thing, but it's okay. I like it. I did this at the very, very end of the day after doing, I don't know, maybe 5 hours of putting pages together for Calvin balls. So my brain was a little tired. And on top of that, I had an appointment yesterday, so I did a little bit of running around. And so it was kind of, like I said, the end of the day, and the brain was a little tired. So I was impressed by what I came up with, considering that I was pretty pooped. So I'm just going to keep the embellishments going from the top left going to the bottom right, and I'm not going to do too much with the transparencies or the acetates because there's so much color to them. It looks like there is uh, layers because the transparency itself has, you know, different colors. I'm just going to take some enamel dots from my mind's eye on Market Street. It's actually a Christmas collection, but yeah, I loved the colors. It was, some of them were red, so I'm going to use them in all the different embellishments. And then I'm going to work on the title, and it's going to have a couple of titles. I'm going to use some jelly bean soup, tiny letters, and I'm just going to write buddies on the bottom. And then I'm going to go get some October afternoon. They're letters. I think they're hard to find now. They keep coming out with different ones, not as much as before though, and I miss them. But they have one font on one side and then the square letters on the other side. And I'm going to go get the red ones, and I'm going to spell out Canada Day. And if you're new to my channel, just to let you know, I upload 3 videos a week. I do Watercolor Wednesday, Let's Get Hip Fridays, and Scrap Your Stash Saturdays. And right now I'm doing sort of a, not a special, but a different thing on my YouTube channel. I'm working on a challenge that's going to happen in March, and it's called Calvin Ball. And it's just a friendly competition that happens over at Get It Scrapped. And it's to scrap as many pages as you possibly can in the month of March. Now, I found out about this a couple years ago, I guess. Yeah, a couple years ago. I've been watching Katie Scott for about 2 years. And every year I'm like, oh, that'd be fun, but I don't know if I have the time. This year, I decided, she mentioned it back in January, and I'm like, you know what? You got enough time to get ready, so just prep for it and, you know, try to get, I want to get 31 pages done in March. So that's my goal, is to get 31 pages. So over on my YouTube channel right now, I'm just kind of prepping for it and getting a whole bunch of page kits ready. I'm going to try and get 100 page ready. I know I only want to do 30 for Calvin Ball, but I'm also going on a crop in April and also at a crop in May. I confirmed last night I'm going to go in May. And so I'm getting ready for those 3 crops. So 100 pages. So it's a lot of fun, but it's kind of addicting. I'm forgetting to do my regular pages for my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to work again on my Calvin Ball videos, but also or pages, and I'm also going to work on my Let's Get Hip Friday. So I'm going to do a page for the Hip Kit Club. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout. I just put Canada Day 2015, and I did a little bit of journaling. And one of my goals this year was to make sure that I do journaling right away when I do my pages, and up to now I've kept up with it. So thanks so much for watching, and if you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.